Introducing ByramConnect, powered by the Welldoc App, an exclusive benefit for all Byram customers. Designed specifically for diabetes management, ByramConnect, powered by the Welldoc App, is an FDA-cleared mobile app that connects and captures your health data, providing real-time, personalized coaching and insights. With ByramConnect, powered by the Welldoc App, patients can track their blood glucose, medications, meals, activity, and more, giving them a complete picture of their health in one convenient place. The app is powered by Welldoc's advanced AI, delivering personalized coaching based on clinical standards. Patients receive proactive messaging and real-time advice that can help them manage their diabetes and achieve better outcomes like lower weight, A1C, and blood pressure. The app seamlessly syncs with over 400 devices, from continuous glucose monitoring systems to fitness trackers and blood pressure monitors, creating a unified solution for chronic care management. Offers a range of dedicated modules, including weight management, which provides personalized tools and insights to help members make lasting lifestyle changes, and modules to directly support the healthcare journey for type 1 and type 2 diabetes, hypertension, heart health, prediabetes, and mental well-being. Patients are encouraged to build healthier habits through consistent coaching, reminders, and goal-setting features, all accessible right from their mobile device. Real-time data and personalized insights help improve patient compliance, and health reports can be shared directly from the app to healthcare professionals via EMR, fax, or email to optimize patient care between visits. ByramConnect, powered by the Welldoc App, helping patients take charge of their diabetes management by staying connected and informed every step of the way. Visit ByramHealthcare.com to learn more.
Fun, and welcome to today's live stream about the connection between glucose, blood pressure, and mental health. I'm Kayla Bowen, Digital Marketing Specialist at Byram Healthcare, and I'm so glad you've joined us today. Today we'll be speaking with two amazing guests who we'll introduce in a moment here. But Byram Healthcare has been a national leader in patient direct medical supply delivery for over 50 years. We're proud to have been named the best overall diabetic supply company by Verywell Health for 4 consecutive years, and to hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. At Byram, we believe that life takes care, and today's conversation is one way we're supporting your health journey. Before we dive in, please note that this live stream is for informational purposes only and should not replace professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your exercise or nutrition, diabetes care routine in general. Okay, so today we are joined by Alicia Downs and Lyndsay Gregerson. Let's start with Alicia. If you could give us a little intro about yourself.
So I am Alicia Downs. Lots of letters behind my name. I'm a registered nurse and board certified advanced diabetes care and management diabetes care specialist with integrated diabetes services. We specialize in intensive insulin therapy, but in all forms of diabetes management. My particular specialty is in diabetes when it combines with either other medical challenges, so other diagnoses that can make managing diabetes particularly difficult, or where diabetes can make the medical diagnosis particularly difficult to manage, as well as behavioral health challenges. Before my diabetes specialty focus, I was a behavioral health nurse for several years as well. And so those 3 worlds have immense spaces of overlap because none of them really comes alone. I often say that diabetes is a medical diagnosis that comes with a mental and behavioral health treatment plan. Because most of our life with diabetes really comes down to how we think about it.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Alicia. And then Lyndsay, can you give us a little intro as well?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My background is I'm a registered dietitian and certified diabetes care and education specialist. For the past 1.5 years, I've been working at Welldoc, and really a platform, as Alicia highlighted. Diabetes is complex, and then when you put layers of other conditions and so many variables that we know impact our health. So I'll look forward to sharing more on how the Welldoc application supports our conversation today. What inspires me each and every day is, besides working with amazing people and supporting people with diabetes and other health conditions, but also really it comes from my own experience being diagnosed at age 3. And so I definitely have a place in my heart, as well as the different ages and stages, and how my mental wellness has really impacted some of my day-to-day, and appreciating more than ever the tie-in, and that I'm so grateful that it's getting more awareness and recognition as it deserves in health management. So I look forward to diving in with you, Alicia.
I actually forgot to mention, I always do forget. I think because I work with so many people with diabetes, I forget to mention that I'm a person with diabetes as well. I was adult diagnosed when I was 26. I live with so many people with diabetes. I work with so many people with diabetes. It's kind of like saying, hi, I'm Alicia, I'm a human. I always figure it kind of goes without saying, but
Thank you both. So first, we will start off with Alicia. She'll talk a little bit about the connection between glucose, blood pressure, and mental health, but Lyndsay, feel free to chime in at any point. So, Alicia, can you talk to us a little bit about how stress and mental health can impact glucose and blood pressure, and then diabetes management?
Absolutely. The 3 are one. We very often, for a long time, and we had this model of the human, and we had sort of the human body and the human mind, and they were considered 2 separate things, and we treated them as 2 separate things. Your physical health was one world, your mental health was a separate world, and nary the twain shall meet. If you went to your PCP and said, I'm depressed, the PCP looked at you and said, why are we talking? If you went to a therapist and said, my stomach is hurting all of the time, your therapist said, that's not a me issue. And really just in the past 20 years or so, we have really seen medicine and mental health, behavioral health integrating. We've known for a long time that our bodies and our minds impact each other, but really seeing the practice of it in the day-to-day life of individuals is really pretty new. And when it comes specifically to diabetes, we know that we experience every day that stress. Well, first of all, stress. What are we even talking about when we say stress? We're talking about things that put a pressure on a person. That's all stress is. As adults, we tend to think of it negatively. We tend to think of financial stress that puts a negative burden on one's mind, one's well-being. We tend to think of relational stress when there's a struggle or a conflict. We tend to think of just the stress of having a lot of things to do. Your to-do list gets a bit unwieldy. There's more day than there are hours. But there's positive stress. If anyone's ever spent any time with a small child, they spend as much of their day going, about happy things than anything else. Stress is good. Ask any college kid who's written an A+ paper at 3 o'clock in the morning the day it's due. You get the right amount of pressure. It can be a really good motivator to push us to things. Necessity is the mother of invention. Stress can be a healthy thing. But we all know that whether it's good stress, bad stress, motivating stress, healthy stress, we feel it. You can feel it in your body. You can feel the difference between, I have no stress about this, and therefore I'm very deflated and really not motivated to do anything about it. And okay, now I've hit that level of stress. I feel a little push. My muscles engage. My breathing changes. My heart rate starts to build a little bit. I get a little bit more color in my cheeks. And now I'm ready to do the thing. Kids come alive when stress suddenly hits. They are banging off the walls because someone said the word Santa in mid-October. Right. We know we're going to have a conflict conversation tomorrow, and the heart rate starts. And suddenly we can't quite catch our breath. Our palms are sweating. All full body things are going on. All kinds of, we can't stop shaking our foot under the table. And people in the next room are like, please, can you stop? Because you're making the entire house vibrate. So it can't possibly just be a thing that's in our head if it's making our foot shake, right? So we think about stress, we think, oh, it's just affecting my mind. Well, no, it's clearly affecting the entire body. It's making our sweat glands engage. It's making us eat, stress eating, or not eat, losing our appetite. So it is clearly full body systemic. So blood pressure, well, that one makes sense. I mean, we can feel our heart, go-gong, 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 go-gong. If it's beating hard enough that you are mentally aware of it, which I'm sitting here talking to you now, I'm not mentally aware of my heart rate or how hard it's beating at all, because I'm not really under stress. I'm doing something I kind of enjoy that's part of my normal day-to-day. It's a sort of normal stress level. If I'm consciously aware of my heart rate, that's an increase in blood pressure right there. And in fact, if you have high blood pressure, one of the meds that we use, it's called a beta blocker. You'll know if you're on one because it typically ends in olol, O-L-O-L. It's not laughing out loud. It's an olol. What beta blockers do is they actually block how strong the stress response is going to get. So when you go, oh no, and your heart rate starts to ramp up and your blood pressure starts to ramp up, it kind of caps how far that stress response is going to push blood pressure. So the first thing we do when somebody has high blood pressure is go, ooh, let's put a cap on the physiology of the stress response. So the fact that that's the first lever we reach for lets you know that's a pretty powerful mechanism in the body. Now, don't I wish I could take a beta blocker and stop it from pushing around my blood sugar? Because it sure does. In kids, I call it the Santa Claus effect. You can have a little kid with type 1 diabetes. Lyndsay, they didn't have CGM when you were a kid, but boy, I bet your parents probably wish they did, because when little kids get excited, blood sugar just shoots up for no apparent reason. And parents are going, how come we finally figured out breakfast? We had breakfast nailed, and then school started. And all of a sudden, blood sugars are so high after breakfast because school is a massive stressor for a kid. And parents go, no, my kid's not stressed about school. My kid loves school. Then that's positive stress. That kid is like, yes, school. I get to see people that I love. And their blood sugar flies through the roof. Or they're a teenager and they're just a little anxious about how they look that day. Maybe they get great grades and they're a social butterfly, but they woke up with zits. They're going to be stressed. So knowing that stress is going to affect my blood sugar it then benefits me to have stress management, but also my blood sugar affects my stress level. Anyone with diabetes knows, I mean, I love my CGM. I'm so happy I have it. When it beeps, it can be stressful because that beep can be very triggering, because that beep is telling me my blood sugar is either high or low. If it's low, it might make me anxious. I might get scared. If it's high, it might make me angry. I used to become the Incredible Hulk when my blood sugar went high. It made me so mad. But the stress left me higher. So like one of the most important things I had to do was recognize the power of stress on blood sugar.
Right.
And so the three are, one, so stress is going to raise my blood pressure. And then my blood pressure being high is part of the physical reaction that's going to raise my blood sugar, but then my blood sugar being high can raise my stress level. And so being able to sort of get all three into this state of the sort of zen, into this state of balance, is incredibly tricky. And then we get into a spot where the medications that we take for our blood pressure mean that we might not be able to feel hypoglycemia, because like I said, it's going to cap that stress response. The feeling of low blood pressure or low blood sugar around there, what's the first thing we start feeling? A bump, a bump, a bump, a bump, a bump. Well, now I take metoprolol for my high blood pressure. That puts a cap on that feeling. So my blood pressure drop, or my blood sugar, my blood sugar drops, and I don't get the bump anymore that I used to get at 70. So now I get a Dexcom screen at 55 instead. The interplay of these things, huge. It's all because of two chemicals. We get a short-term chemical called adrenaline. That one we all kind of are familiar with. It's the one we go after when we play extreme sports, roller coasters. It's a short, intense hit, usually lasts maybe 3, max 4 hours. Because your body can't endlessly release adrenaline. It kind of maxes out, and our body kind of fatigues on it, and we run out after a little bit. Very short, but very intense impact on blood sugar and blood pressure. But under that, we also get cortisol. Cortisol is kind of a low and slow. Adrenaline was made to keep ancient cave person, hunter-gatherer Alicia from getting eaten by a tiger. The tiger jumped out of the bushes. It gave me a sudden hit of energy so I could run away or stand and fight. Cortisol was there to keep hunter-gatherer Alicia more aware that there are tigers in the area. Low level of constant stress awareness. But now I'm modern Alicia, so now I get these spikes from like interpersonal conflict,
Right.
like things that are like tigers going to kill me level big,
Right.
now come from things that are like going to be inconvenient level small.
Yeah.
And the cortisol, because it's lower in impact, we don't tend to be able to point at it and go like, oh, that was that thing. It's got more of like a 8 to 12 hour impact. And because the stimuli doesn't tend to go away. So like the tiger's lurking, and I go to bed and I wake up the next morning and it's still lurking. We can get even a 24-hour effect. That cortisol can stay going in the body for days, weeks, months. So then we get this kind of long-term stewing in stress chemicals. So then we've got what's going on underneath it. So we've got kind of the acute stressors and then the chronic stressors, both of which can affect blood sugar, both of which can affect blood pressure, which then in turn can affect mental health. So, so kind of a long way to a.
No, I love the imagery that you use and like the analogy. It's really great about like just making it make sense. So I mean, in talking about that connection between stress, blood, blood sugar and blood pressure, how could someone approach trying to like strike a balance between those things?
So I find the most powerful one for individuals is recognizing the stress piece, because first, that's going to be something that you can start literally right now while watching this video. We can start addressing and identifying how we cope with stress. Where blood pressure, that's a big piece. It's going to take a lot of lifestyle changes over a lot of time to work on that. Blood sugar, it's going to take a lot of lifestyle change over some time to work on that. It often takes doctor's appointments. It often takes medication changes. There are a lot of players involved in that. Mental health and stress often just takes awareness. Like it's one of those things where if we just clue into the fact that it's present and its power, we can immediately start to impact it in really significant ways. So imagine blood sugar. Imagine if just being aware of your blood sugar going high could stop it from going high. Like, right? That's living the dream. Imagine if I could just think about calories increasing my weight, and that could make me lose weight. Like, that's living the dream. But that really is how stress management can start working. So we can start with mindfulness, just there, thinking to myself, I am having a death by tiger attack level response. Is this a death by tiger attack level situation? So I am having an adrenal response to this. An adrenal response, so my heart is beating, my breathing is changing, I'm getting the sweats, I'm getting the shakes, my stomach feels, I'm having a full body reaction to this. This is designed for life or death. Is what I'm facing life or death? Or did I get the wrong order at the drive-through window? Like, just recognizing that and taking a moment to go, okay. Right. This is just a leftover that is looking for a place. I have this ancient leftover piece, this adrenal reaction that is looking for a place to express itself. And it's grabbing an inappropriate place, the drive-through window. And it's going, go to 11. No, this is like a 1.5 situation. Don't give it death by tiger attack level attention. Like, let me bring it down and give it, like, what's the 1.5? Oh, look at that. Heart rate came down. If you find that that's tough, or if your body's already gone there, because sometimes the body kind of steers the ship and the brain's struggling to keep up and it's going, no, wait. Yeah, I know it's not 11, but my heart rate has already gone there. A really great exercise that I love, and you can pause and come back, or you can Google it. It's the 5 senses exercise. It's great because we take our senses with us anywhere. And if you are someone who one of your senses is absent or missing, don't worry about it. Skip that one. It's not important that there's 5 or the number. We start with 5 things we can see. Just look around your space. Identify 5 things you can see. What are 4 things you can hear? Just turn your ears on. What are 4 things in your space you can hear? What are 3 things you can feel? Your sense of touch. I can feel this fabric. I can feel my hair. I can feel the texture of my laptop in front of me. What are 2 things I can smell? This is a tougher one. We don't have the greatest sense of smell as humans, and it's allergy season. I'm not the most acute, but I can kind of smell the fabrics around me, and someone might have put something in the microwave at lunch. And then what is something I can taste? Well, that's usually the toughest. Don't go around licking something to identify just what's the inside of your mouth taste like right now. Well, by the time you get usually into the 3, blood pressure drops, heart rate drops, because the body, you can't do any of those while being attacked by a tiger.
Right.
If you're being attacked by a tiger, the only thing you see is tiger, and the only thing you hear is tiger, and you can't identify that. So the moment that you start doing that, you have immediately told your brain and your body, there is no tiger. And so your body and your brain go, got it, and start de-escalating and start calming down. I have worked with patients that can be in a full-blown panic attack, in a full-blown psychotic episode. I mean, in a losing it, weeping, throwing things, violent, raging, the most sort of out of their stressed mind you can imagine, get to 3 things you can touch and go, and just it all centers in. So when you're looking and your blood sugar is high and it's like, oh, again, my kidneys are gonna fail. 5 things I can see right now, and you'll be like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 things I can hear. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 things I can touch. 1, 2, 3. 2 things I can smell. 1, 2. And yes, you went to the stress phase, but you reined it in, and the amount of time it takes to do that gets shorter and shorter. So start with the stress. Then as we get good at that, the time we spend in that stress space gets smaller and smaller. And so then the impact on the blood pressure and the blood sugar gets smaller and smaller as well. Then you can move from dealing with it, which is a responsive or reactive, to proactive. What are things that are causing me to get stressed? Let me start identifying them and reducing them or preparing for them. Let me make sure I've got good supports around me. Do I have people that are going to help offload some of those stressful things and help reduce their number in my life? Do I have a good therapist who's going to help me identify triggers and some good new coping skills to get around them, like 5-fingered, or 5 senses exercises, or a psychiatrist or my PCP who's going to say, you know what, I think there's a chemical piece to your brain that your triggers are just a little too sensitive. Sometimes we just have hair triggers where we're not supposed to. And instead of things stressing us out because, a 7 becomes a 10, sometimes if we don't have a good chemical balance, a 2 becomes a 10. And so getting things sort of chemically balanced at the brain level can help that immensely. As people with diabetes, we would never look at somebody with type 1 diabetes and say, oh, you take insulin, that's a crutch. You should really not be on that medication. No, I take insulin because I have an underlying chemical imbalance in my body, and the balance that I need is to take insulin. If I have type 2 diabetes, I'm not going to tell someone who takes medication to help them manage that, you could have done it the hard way and with diet and exercise. No, take the medication to help you. And part of your journey may be to reduce that medication at some point. It may not. Part of your body's chemistry may be that it just needs that help to balance your physiology. So medication, the brain is the same way. Again, I don't know why we decided somewhere along the way that like medicine worked all the way until it got to the brain, but then we weren't supposed to like use medicine on the brain. Like,
Right.
even though it's literally encased in the rest of the body.
Right.
But we should really see it the same as we do the rest of the body. On the other side, we also want to make sure that we're managing our blood pressure and our blood sugar. Anybody who's ever had a low blood sugar can tell you the brain is not working well when we have a low blood sugar. I can't deal with stress when my blood sugar is low. As a matter of fact, I will cause very stressful things to happen in my life when my blood sugar is low for no good reason. I will napalm a friendship because of a low blood sugar. That was a conflict I did not need to have. Likewise, high blood sugar. I am not a great person to be around if my blood sugar has been in the mid 200s for an extended period of time. I am just the crankiest pants. And it's not because I'm mad about the high. It's just a physiologic thing that happens. My brain does not work the same when my blood sugars are elevated for an extended period. It's like thinking through molasses up there. I'm not the same person. Kids who are trying to learn their emotions and emotional regulations, who are trying to learn intersocial reactions and how to behave appropriately in just different situations, they're going to struggle. They might even end up with diagnoses and behavioral diagnoses and things like that that are really just an effect of kind of trying to think through a lot of excess glucose. So we are going to have an easier time dealing with stress if our blood sugars are in healthier range. So now we can go, okay, let's start working on the mental health as we're making progress there. Okay, got a little extra hard drive space, got a little extra space to breathe. Now let's start working on the blood sugar a little bit. Oh, you know what? As I work on the blood sugar, that stress management piece gets a little easier to deal with. And so the blood sugar then gets a little easier to deal with. Oh, they really work together. As we're doing that, managing blood sugar means our vasculature is going to be healthier. It means we're going to not need as much medication, which is going to be healthier for our cardiovascular health as well. We're not going to have all that stress and all that cortisol and all that internal inflammation pushing blood pressure up. Blood pressure is going to come down. We're not going to need all those blood pressure meds. So our blood sugar is going to be a little easier to manage. So again, the more we stabilize one piece of the triangle, the more the whole thing gets to be more stable as well. So they all really work together. It's not very often people will say, I don't have time for stress management because I'm trying to balance my blood sugar. And I say, you don't have time to not manage your stress because it's going to jack up your blood sugar.
Right.
And then I said, you don't have time to not deal with your blood sugar because until you deal with your blood sugar, your blood pressure is just going to keep getting worse. We have to give everything a little bit. We're very much a like silver bullet society in America. We're always looking for like, give me the one thing to fix it all.
Right.
That is never the answer. Like, we're like, oh, if I could just win Powerball. Yeah, that is not the answer to your money problems, right? Like, if I could just give me the silver bullet, give me the thing. It's not. It's about just a little sprinkle on each of the things.
Right.
And just keep sprinkling it just a little bit. And it just smooths all three out together. And they never stay. That's the other thing, is it is never a linear journey.
Right.
So the minute you're like, and you reach like Zen, and you're like, look at me with my good mental health and my good blood sugar and my good blood pressure. Be ready, because something is. They're always ready. That's when the decks come, like squonk, and then it's something. But once you've made the journey and then it's easier to go, oh, I've made this journey before. And then you can get it still much faster, because you can go awareness, 5-finger, get the doc and the meds and the supports and the
Right.
and you can write it and get it back on track. We often get very upset because it's like, I put in all the work, but it's going to keep getting messed up. Why bother? You're alive, so it's going to keep getting messy. That's the nature of being alive. I always tell people, if your blood sugar stays perfect, don't go on social media. Call an ambulance.
Yeah.
You died a while ago. That's not okay. People with perfect blood sugar are in the ground. That's not. Those aren't the people I work with. They're not alive anymore. So people with perfect mental health are delusional. Like they don't actually live on the same reality as the rest of us at best. Or they don't have brain function anymore. Blood pressure, if somebody's blood pressure never peaks or drops, it's because they don't have any. So you're gonna get tippy. It's not about keeping it perfect. It's about growing the skills to get it back on track a little quicker, a little easier each time.
Right. I love that. Thank you so much for all of that great information and insight. I just, like I said before, I love the imagery and the like metaphors that you use. It's so great for like visualizing and connecting with what you're saying. So thank you so much, Alicia.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we're going to shift into talking about a few of the features of ByramConnect, powered by the Welldoc app, which is an exclusive benefit for all Byram Diabetes customers. And if you're a Byram Diabetes customer and you haven't yet given the app a shot, you can go to the App Store or the Google Play Store, download the Welldoc app, and then use program ID Byram to get started with all of the amazing features of this app. So for the last 2 live streams we did, we talked about exercise and nutrition features of the app. So there are just so many different modules that you can take advantage of. So this time we're going to talk about the heart health, hypertension, and mental well-being support features of the app. So Lyndsay's going to walk us through that. If you could start by just giving a brief overview of the app in general, and then go into the specifics of those features, that would be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Welldoc is available to support any of your health conditions. So often we as adults do perhaps have plural or multiple conditions, but really what is unique and helps support that intro that Alicia provided is there are a lot of variables that we know that impact blood sugar, blood pressure, as well as weight, as well as overall our well-being, but it's really hard at times to manage it all. And I just love, again, bringing to light the significance of mental well-being, because I feel like often in the health space, we do focus on the physical, like focusing on the variables with nutrition and activity, and sleep is getting some good recognition these days, but how often we can be proactive with our mental well-being as well. So I'll highlight some not only ways that one can log these various variables, but also some resources that support you when maybe you do want to tap more into whether it be that senses exercise that Alicia shared. There's a place that you can journal that I'll share on my screen in a moment here, but as well as different action plans that can help, again, wrap around where you are in your health journey. So I am at this time sharing my screen, and you are seeing a profile of, we'll call him Jim. And Jim has type 2 diabetes as well as hypertension. And he has already set a weight loss goal, as you see up top. And I want to just draw your eyes as we slide on over from that goal. We can start other goals, and really whether it be around more of that physical component, or there are ways that one can tap into their care for their mental well-being. So maybe you want to track even your mood, or where you are on that, kind of awareness to where you are with your anxiety. So these are different tools that can be utilized, and some suggestions of perhaps what, if you read through, we're all unique in what provides support for us in our mental well-being, as far as I think those that senses awareness, but we often hear about breathing exercises. And again, these are ways that we can be more proactive rather than waiting for buildup of time happening and an acute situation. I just think there's so much more we can do with really tapping into our day to day. And what a wonderful way to think about it, that it's not just how we show up to our family and our friends and perhaps on the job, but also that it directly impacts our glucose and our blood pressure levels. So as you see, I'm just setting this goal, and now up top we have that tracker, and being able to make notes, as well as follow in this mood tracking as one of the ways. As mentioned earlier, you can also do this with anxiety. So I'm going to go ahead and just move on with this goal, and see if Alicia, any feedback on the simplicity of being able to log where our mood is and tap into that from a reflective standpoint?
Yeah, I love being able to have a number and being able to log mood. It's one of the things I always recommend that patients do, because then we can see change.
Mm-hmm.
We can see change over time. We can also identify patterns. So I can identify, you know what, my mood is always crappy the second week of the month. What is the second? Oh, that's when those reports are always due at work. I bet I'm getting really stressed out. Maybe I should put something into effect to help bolster me, or make sure I'm sleeping better or eating better or something like that. So I really
Exactly. I appreciate you sharing. And, we are all unique. I know for today, we're really focusing on mental well-being as it relates to awareness, as well as some of the monitoring tools. For me, if I had, 3 days in and zero activity, or I've been busy and I've been eating out more, there's so much that impacts our mood, and not to get overwhelmed with that we should be tracking and logging everything, because I think that in and of itself can be a stressor. But just knowing that this Welldoc application can really support you with where you're interested to zone in on, and you can start participating with these many different ways, and tracking and trying to put it together. There are insights that I'll share momentarily, how everything kind of fits together. But again, just up top, having a quick reference, and maybe zoning in on a couple days or a week or 2 weeks, these different variables, and really appreciating how you are, and how your body responds, and opportunities to really zone in on the additional care that you have with your mental well-being. So we are going to go ahead and continue on with the here we're actually seeing a journey because of the the weight loss goal that Jim has. It happens to be, I did not tee this up, it just really worked out nicely, that week 4 is a focused on mental well-being, because we know that there's such an impact on our physical health as well. So there are articles as well as action plans, and even helping remind you of what I just shared with you about logging a goal. And then getting really into the significance of logging. None of us like that word, but what can we do to keep it easier? Under the More section and connections and devices, there are different ways that you can connect to devices that you perhaps are already using. So I'm going to go ahead and draw your eyes to the blood pressure monitors. And if you are currently using any of these blood pressure cuffs, you could sync it within your application. The app gives you the guidance of how to do this. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call the Welldoc customer care experts. But really that helps simplify. However, if you did want to manually enter, of course, that's an option. Perhaps you're using a cuff that's not on that list. So drawing your eyes to the lower right where we see that yellow enter key, and I'm going to go ahead and put Jim self-measured his blood pressure, and it was a little high at 142/82. Here we're going to get a little kind of briefing when we talk about insights or digital coaching. Sometimes it's motivational, sometimes it's a reminder on how everything's connected, but there may be times based off of patterns that you could get a nudge to reach out to your healthcare professional team, as the application is not replacing any aspect. It's just, think of it as, again, another team member or support for you when we think about a digital health resource. So besides being able to capture data and, as you just saw with some feedback, we can also expand in ways that we want to have self-care plans, so to speak. And to do that, to share more what's found within Welldoc, I'm going to go ahead and on the bottom tap into Learn. And I want to go ahead and the 4th option down, we see coping and support. And as Alicia highlighted, we know the significance of building a team, whether that be professionally, but also how we can communicate with our friends, family, but even, again, the actions that we can do within ourselves. Here we're seeing teed up that video around turning negatives into positives. And just trying to work through some of those skill sets individually, as well as how we team up with others in our support team. So even if I zone in up top, we can see if there's further even lessons around, again, navigating emotions, as well as, again, what this whole focus has been on how to reduce stress. I think always what came first, it's like the chicken or the egg concept with stress and blood sugar. And I think many of us listening in can think through that within our own health journeys. There's also, as you see, various other options within the library, and it includes articles as well as videos. And finally, I'd like to highlight another piece in the resource menu. So for those that maybe notice when they are eating out often, or nutrition can play a part in their wellness journey beyond just blood sugar and blood pressure, but also mood. There's a library of healthy recipes as well as meal planning. I know it seems like a little bit upfront work to do with planning for the week, but most of us, I think, in motion of doing this act, I'll find that it actually builds for more of a successful week, where we feel that that empowerment of knowing that we're contributing to our wellness there. And there's also an exercise library filled with videos to help you. Maybe if you're like me and you really notice lack of, can really draw hire to manage my stress levels. So just knowing that various resources are found in here. But finally, at the very bottom where we see mindset, there's this mental well-being tab. And this is something as humans, none of us can avoid altogether, unfortunately. As we identified, if you feel like you're always aiming for perfection and that other people around you are achieving that in their blood pressure, their blood sugar, or how they show up in life, they have their days too. They're just showing you their high reels. So we are all exposed to different topics that can really perhaps zone in on being able to focus on, perhaps what is really sticking out to you and a different action plan to help with topics related to, in this example, reduced activities. So it guides you through that experience. And again, there's a journal that can be utilized within the application here we go, time to journal. I didn't plan that, but that is maybe if not already, sharing gratitude in ways, or I think that to me has always been one of my go-to tools as well, is a gratitude journal, but also how these plans can be built into more of an action plan to help really zone in on all the variables that are impacting our health and wellness. That was a very high level. I feel if ever I was a cruise director, we got through a lot right now, but hopefully you, for anyone that's already using the Welldoc application, maybe we shared something that you weren't aware of. Encouragement, just pluck away one thing at a time if that's more of your style. For those that haven't downloaded the Welldoc application, I encourage you to do so, and hoping that cheers to you in your wellness journey here.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that walkthrough, Lyndsay. Yeah, there are just a plethora of amazing features of this app. And so if you're a Byram Diabetes customer, you have access to this amazing resource. So you should download the Welldoc app now and use program ID Byram to get started. But yeah, so Alicia, any thoughts on the features highlighted in the app? I know you haven't gotten a chance to give it a try yourself yet, but
I love it. I love that it brings together, like Lyndsay said, like the dreaded word logging. I mean, we all have so many tasks just as people in our modern world, in whatever roles we have. But one that we have in common is people with diabetes. And there are so many tasks involved with diabetes. It's one of the things that makes it such a difficult disease, is it's so task heavy. And so having an app like the Welldoc app that really brings so many tasks together so that I'm not having to go through in 15 different apps is really helpful. But also when they're brought together, it makes them more meaningful. So I'm not just logging so that I have data to show my doctor so that I'm a good patient, or so that, my medication doses can be adjusted, that I'm really bringing the data together so that my blood sugar data and my blood pressure data and my mood recording and my food recording synergize now. That where they each are individually is just a task that bogs my life down, but when they come together, they really do something powerful that empowers me to then make really big changes in my world, and that can really unlock something that can be that silver bullet. That, oh my gosh, now I do have this one thing I can change that makes a really big difference. Oh my gosh, how come I never realized that when I go 3 consecutive days without taking a walk, my blood sugars go up, my blood pressures run high, I forget to take my medication, and my mood goes to crap. Oh, for
Yeah.
years I've been struggling and struggling and beating my head against a wall because I just wasn't able to put those pieces together.
Right.
And so it's so amazing when we have a piece of technology that can really facilitate and bring that all together.
Right.
So, and being able to do it, technology sometimes can be a burden because it can be over much.
Right.
It gives us the opportunity to get kind of too much. Goodness
Mhm.
knows we've got too much information, too much stuff pouring into our eyes and our ears a lot, but to be able to pour out some of ourselves into our tech and link our tech up to talk, effortlessly, to make it take on some of the burden
Mhm.
and unlock some things for us is just so amazing. I know I've had some of those moments in my diabetes management, in my weight management, in my mental health management, in my time management, in my money management, all of which, again, they're all part of the
Mhm.
same thing because no
Right.
part of my life does not touch each other. That it's really made such a huge difference to be able to connect those dots that just I couldn't without the technology interweaving
Right.
them.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for joining me today for this discussion. We wanted to touch on mental health and stress because May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So it was really great to talk about how that plays into diabetes management and heart health and blood pressure, blood sugar. So just in closing, before we let you go, I'll just restate our disclaimer that this live stream is for informational purposes only and should not replace professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your care routine. But yeah, again, if you're a Byram Diabetes customer, go to the App Store or Google Play Store, download the Welldoc app, and use program ID Byram to get started with this amazing resource. And if you don't already follow us on Instagram, we are Byram Diabetes Care, and we're posting all about heart health and mental health this month. And yeah, stay tuned for our next live stream coming up soon. And thank you again, Lyndsay and Alicia, for joining.
Thank you.
All right, goodbye.
Introducing ByramConnect, powered by the Welldoc App, an exclusive benefit for all Byram customers. Designed specifically for diabetes management, ByramConnect, powered by the Welldoc App, is an FDA-cleared mobile app that connects and captures your health data, providing real-time, personalized coaching and insights. With ByramConnect, powered by the Welldoc App, patients can track their blood glucose, medications, meals, activity, and more, giving them a complete picture of their health in one convenient place. The app is powered by Welldoc's advanced AI, delivering personalized coaching based on clinical standards. Patients receive proactive messaging and real-time advice that can help them manage their diabetes and achieve better outcomes like lower weight, A1C, and blood pressure. The app seamlessly syncs with over 400 devices, from continuous glucose monitoring systems to fitness trackers and blood pressure monitors, creating a unified solution for chronic care management. Offers a range of dedicated modules, including weight management, which provides personalized tools and insights to help members make lasting lifestyle changes, and modules to directly support the healthcare journey for type 1 and type 2 diabetes, hypertension, heart health, prediabetes, and mental well-being. Patients are encouraged to build healthier habits through consistent coaching, reminders, and goal-setting features, all accessible right from their mobile device. Real-time data and personalized insights help improve patient compliance, and health reports can be shared directly from the app to healthcare professionals via EMR, fax, or email to optimize patient care between visits. ByramConnect, powered by the Welldoc app. helping patients take charge of their diabetes management by staying connected and informed every step of the way. Visit ByramHealthcare.com to learn more.